Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 219. Ooh, the ankle's bad right here. I think that's a little better. There we go. So, Fantard here to talk about the recent chapter. And man, so in this chapter, it was basically like the first half was a little insight on Kuga's mind, literally, and more into his rivalry or one-sided rivalry with Ishii. And then of course we have the second half where we see the beginning of both matches starting and the hype beginning. So it's Ishii versus Kuga, and you got Kobayashi versus Migashima. And those are the first two fights that are going to happen. The other one is going to be Saito versus Subaru. And I'm also really curious about that one, how that's going to go. And that'll probably like a little further down. But the first two ones, these are the ones that are up. The first two Elite are finally going to get their hands into it. And I'm probably expecting this to be a wipeout. They got to get a win. They have to get a win. But anyway, with Kuga, you get some insight into his mind. And he talks about, how his life has been so good. He's been pampered, loving parents, good-looking kid, smart, a master cook. All the girls are all over him. And then you kind of see him question himself inside of his mind, like, what about your height? Height's not that important. So he's kind of like talking about his conscience. And then he mentions how one of the very few times that he has had to face an obstacle was against the first seed, how he was humiliated 5-0. And it shows like a little flashback with the other Elite 10s, and they're talking about, Kuga, how could you go off and challenge the first seed like that, you cocky son of a gun? You knew you were going to get your ass kicked deep down. And you kind of see Kuga, he's kind of like in a trance, like, oh, bad. Kind of like how a character just looks so shocked at how badly they were beaten, like in a tournament, a shonen fight. And you see Ishii kind of like bring up his spirits, like, hey, if anything, you at least got the first seed to notice you and take you on. And that actually like brings up back his confidence, and he decides to go and want to challenge Ishii again. So as he goes, now here's what it hurts more, is that the fact that not only did he get wiped out, but he finds out that Ishii didn't even remember his name when he was talking to another student about how he was praising him for wiping out the underclassmen, and he didn't even remember his name. All he knew, he was just the Chinese cuisine guy. So that really hit him in the pride, and that pissed him off, because to Ishii, Kuga was just the next victim. He was just the next opponent, the next guy to get out of my way, the next challenger. And he wanted to prove to him that I'm not just your number, a number in the notch. I'm not just gonna be like the guy that comes in, you just wiped out, and you're never gonna hear from me again. I am an Elite 10, and I will perfect my craft even more so I can try and beat you. And you see in his dialogue, as he begins to start cooking in the match, he says to himself, Ishii, I will make sure that I'm not quoting, but word for word, I will make sure you're gonna remember me, and I'm gonna make sure you're gonna feel the effect of my dish. He doesn't necessarily say that I'm gonna get revenge on you, but I think what's gonna happen here in this matchup is that it's gonna be a lot closer, and that it's gonna be tight notch, and it might be a split decision. I still think the first seed is going to win, but I think it's going to be really close, and I think the first seed is going to end up respecting Kuga a lot more, and he's going to have more of an impression on him than he did the first time they fought, because I really don't expect Kuga to win this one. I'm expecting the first seed to take it. The other two matches are toss-ups in my book. So not only that, but this matchup is also interesting because it kind of levels the playing field a little. When they did the lottery draw, the main ingredient that they're going to do, the theme is green tea, and that isn't neither of their specialties. The first seed is all about French, Kuga is all about Chinese, and so they're both going to have to go a little out of their element, and so it kind of levels the playing field a little. But I still expect Ishii, if he always lives up to his hype, should be able to win, because he's just a little more stronger. He's more experienced than Kuga. He's the third year. So that's how I thought about the first matchup. I still expect the first seed to win. The next one that's where I'm really interested. I want to know more about Migashima and also Kobayashi. This is the first time we see on screen how they do and what are their strengths in their cooking. They don't even mention what are their strengths at all. All we know is that the manga ends with Kobayashi pulling out a fucking alligator, and she has like her fangs, and it's like, let's do this, Migashima. And he's just all badass and puts the bandana on. We don't know what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are necessarily. At least I can't remember anything. So this is the first time we're seeing them on screen, and I'm just so excited. The second versus the third seed. I expect this one to also be a split decision victory. Probably Kobayashi winning. Now, here's the thing I'm having trouble deciding, is because these are the first time for both of them. Do we want the Kobayashi's like hype to go down by losing her first match on screen, or Migishima's hype go down losing it on screen? But that's the thing, is that you can kind of get away with it because they're so closely matched up, the second and the third seed. And I'm interested on how the author's gonna go, because you have to kind of like keep it even to keep this whole tournament interesting, instead of having the Rebels having one up on Central. So I am expecting Kobayashi Rendu to win, but I think it's gonna be a great matchup because she is a badass character. She looks really fun and really cute. Her fangs make her look really menacing. She's so funny, and I gotta. It's hard to see who's gonna win though. Though I do expect tough, grueling matches. I don't want any wipeouts. That's the thing. I don't want it to be a unanimous decision between the judges where it's like a beatdown. Because those are never the best. Like I said before, the split ones are always awesome when the judges disagree with each other and they can't decide, and you have one judge just deciding between them. That's what always makes Shokugeki no Soma interesting. So hopefully we'll get split decision victories, not beatdowns, because I want to see like grueling back and forth matches. And the pacing was really good in this chapter. You know, you got two matches going on at the same time, and they're going to show both of them, which I love. Not like when Migashima took out the 5th seed, where we didn't even see it. Do we even see the judges even eat their own food? That pissed me off so much when Migashima went up against the 5th seed. We didn't even get to see it at all. I did not like that. But now we're going to see Migashima. No off-screen shit. This is where it gets really, really interesting. It has been interesting, but this just took it up another level. This chapter, I'll probably give it a 4 out of 5. And the next one should be hype, really good, on fire chapters. Let's see how this goes. Hope you guys like the review. Fantart out.